So good morning, and thank you very much for your time this morning. You are in your statement. You say you are deeply concerned at the increasing criminal behaviour in and around court buildings. Was this latest incident in Johannesburg what instigated the statement on its own, or has this situation around safety for your members and people around courts been coming for quite some time?
Thank you very much. Good morning to you and then to the listeners. Firstly, the issue of security in and around court has been a concern to us over a period of time. You will remember that there have been incidences where there have been shooting at courts, people have been assaulted, and this is one of the worst incidents that we have witnessed, which then point to one issue, that the issue of security in and around our courts has not been taken seriously, in particular by both either the Public Works or the Ministry of Justice. It is on those bases that we're saying the Office of the Chief Justice must take this matter up. And I'm aware that the Chief Justice has been very much strong on this particular matter, calling for the upgrading of the security in and around courts.
Whose responsibility is it in government to do that? Is it the Justice Department? Is it Public Works or somebody else?
Well, you know, with this, with the bureaucracy within the government, I have been made to be aware that the Public Works is responsible for security, whereas the Department of Justice also, as a portfolio responsible for justice, is also responsible for this particular aspect. But to us, irrespective of whoever is responsible, the fact of the matter, lives of the people in court, in and around court, lives of the judges, lives of those witnesses that attend court, members of the public, is not safe. And this is a very, very serious matter which needs urgent attention. And we've been calling for this particular matter. This incident of the advocate in Johannesburg is one of the last illustration of the loose situation in and around our courts.
With such incidents where a member like the advocate in Joburg was being targeted, what does your law society do for such? What kind of support, rather, do you provide for your members?
First and foremost, we stand firm for the unity of the profession. We advocate for an understanding that the members of the profession, they are there to ensure that there's justice. They are assisting the court in making decisions over matters that are brought to court, and more and above, to ensure that there is fairness in court, we need to allow that practitioners practice law or represent their clients without fear or favor, and that they should not be threatened, because all what they're doing, they advance the interests of those that they represent in court. Ultimately, that will show the mighty of the rule of law, that is part of the rule of law. So if our members are threatened or intimidated, then that is a threat to the Constitution itself, is an attack upon the Constitution. So the least that we'll do to members is to stand up, voice out, and approach those that are responsible to ensure that they pay attention to this particular matters.
Now, what is the law society? How do you view complaints against judges? For instance, we've had reports this morning. The story is also covered in some newspapers that there's been an unprecedented number of complaints against judges. This is according to a report by the Judicial Service Commission. And just recently, the case of the Soweto Scholar Patroller. Parents in Soweto not very happy with the judge's ruling yesterday. How do you respond to that?
Look, let me start this by saying judges are accountable in this country. They are accountable. The Constitution itself provides for the accountability of judges in terms of how they behave, in terms of how they make their decisions in terms of how they deal with the matters. They are accountable. Where there are complaints about judges, as the Chief Justice has repeatedly said, remember, in the last 3 weeks, there was a judicial accountability function called by the Chief Justice, where he outlined this particular matter. Those who have complaints against judges are free to approach the Judicial Service Commission. It will follow up those particular matters, as I understand. And we encourage, of course, all people that have complained against judges to go there. And if you are not happy about decisions that have been made by courts, for example, by judges in court, there is also a recourse in relation to that in the form of an appeal against a judgment. Those are the available forms and remedies that are made available to the members of the public and to all the South Africans, and which must be exercised. The only thing that we cannot agree with is unnecessary public criticism of judges, which must also be accompanied at times with some insults. Those we can really not agree with. That is not correct, because there are mechanisms that are set out for people to lay complaints if they have complaints against judges, if they are not happy about judgments, to approach appeals and move up. There are remedies that are available. And we encourage members of the public to invoke those remedies.
Thank you very much. That's Mvuso Nokesi, co-chairperson of the Law Society.